Hey YouTube. So I want to talk about cruising and how these uncertain times because of COVID-19 is affecting the travel industry, in particular cruising. So if I can find, okay. So this handsome young man name is Arnold W. Donald. He's an American businessman and the chief executive officer for the Carnival Corporation. Um, and he's been the CEO for Carnival since July 2013. He replaced Mickey Orison. So, just to tell a little bit about him, he's 66 years old. He was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. He is married. Sorry, ladies. He's married to Hazel Roberts. So, that's just a little bit about him. Now, what is significant about this young man is that Mr. Donald is that he is saying that the cruise industry does not need a bailout. So this big talk about around whether or not the cruise industry would be included in the bailout, and there's been a lot of debate about it. Um, Concerning it, whether they would be included or not. Because one of the arguments were that a lot of the cruise lines were not American owned, and that it wasn't essential. However, I believe that travel is essential to life. I believe that it promotes good mental health and positive thinking. I think that it definitely puts money into the economy. Uh, Most of the cruise ports are here in the United States. They employ people at the ports. They in hotels. People fly in, so of course flights are getting money. It puts money into um, the airlines. And then people get there and they stay overnight and they need Ubers to get there. And it's just all types of things that go in to put money into the economy before you even board that ship. So he is saying that the cruise lines do not need a bailout. Um, so let me read some of this article that Arnold Donald, again, he is the CEO of Carnival Corporation. And he's saying we do not need a bailout in terms of giving us money. And this is what Donald said on the HBO documentary news program. I got to go watch that. A loan guarantee would be helpful. This is a tax. This is taxing for every industry, Donald said. There are a lot of jobs at stake here. We have 150,000 employees from over 145 countries. We're looking for support, primarily for those who are being touched. So, and I know because I've cruised and I enjoy cruising, and when I get on the cruise, I get to know some of the staff, some of the employees on the cruise. Some of them I keep in touch with on social media. They are at home now. One of my friends, you can look him up on Instagram and Facebook. His name is on Instagram. His name is DJ Renzo, and on Facebook his name is Lorenzo. But one of the things that he did first when he got home was made a post on Facebook asking, "Does anybody need truck drivers?" Now he is a DJ. He works in entertainment on the Carnival Cruise Lines. However, he is willing to do whatever he needs to do for his family. He has a son and a wife. And so he made a post when he got back to where he's to the island where he's from. I can't think of the name of it right now, but he's not American. He's from one of the Caribbean islands. He made a post asking, "Does anybody need to hire a truck driver?" And so he's doing hustles to make ends meet while he's not making money cruising. So yes, this affects not only the economy in America, but everywhere. People, all those people. I mean, a lot of places are tour. You go to Jamaica, that's a tourist area. parts of Cancun, Mexico, or parts of Mexico, the Virgin Islands. Puerto Rico is a tourist area. I know they do other things there, but they're tour areas. Um, so, moving on with this article from Mr. Arnold, it says one reason we are interested in selling again is as soon as practical is because we touch so many small business owners around the world. Here in the United States, Donald said, it's really important that those tens of thousands of people who are dependent on our industry, travel agents, small shops, owners, taxi drivers, etc., like I just said, hotels, flights, Ubers, everything. You use a lot of these services before you even get on that ship. All have an opportunity to make a living. Donald was asked if Carnival Corporation should have halted cruising sooner than they did. Donald said that the Diamond Princess outbreak happened very early on in the crisis. We have hundreds of cruise ships, very few had cases on them, he said. The only one that had the most cases were very early on when no one understood hardly anything. With 2020 hindsight, could everyone have done something sooner? Perhaps. But it was an evolving learning situation, according to Mr. Donald. And I agree. It's like you're asking this man, could they have done something different? There was only a few ships that was caught up in this, in the COVID-19. And they got caught just like United States got caught. Nobody knew this invisible enemy, this Rona that's making her world tour. Donald said that this company is prepared for cruising pause to last for the rest of the year, but he thinks the industry will come back stronger. I agree, Donald. Keep them gassed up and ready to go. We hope this thing is going, and when I say Donald, I mean Donald Arnold, Mr. Donald, not Trumpster. We hope this thing is not going to last forever, he said. We have to plan as if it's going to last all year. I think cruises will ultimately be even better than what they were before, and people love cruising. Yes, we do. Even up until the day we paused, people wanted to cruise. And that's so true. That's absolutely true. I have a cruise coming up I think it's May 21st through the 25th, Memorial Day. Around I get off the cruise on the Memorial Day, but that weekend, starting that Thursday through the weekend, and I just don't want to cancel it. I know I need to. I know I need to postpone it. I know that I am probably going to do that and postpone it and actually do, rather than do that cruise, that 4-day cruise during Memorial Day, I'm probably going to move it to August, my birthday, and do a 7-day for my 50th. But I just can't. My heart just won't let me because I love cruising. And I'm not the only person. I am a part of a cruise community that adore cruising. We dream about it. We think about it. And we talk about it. We love it. And it's a lot of us. So I think that the cruise industry will be fine. It will come back stronger. I like the fact that Mr. Arnold is already saying, this may last throughout the year. But if it lasts throughout the year, he's saying that the cruise industry will be fine, that they do not need a cash bailout. He said they'll take a loan, but not a loan guarantee will be helpful, is what he said. That's his quote. But a bailout is not necessary because when it comes back, those of us who love cruising will be ready and willing to hop on those cruises and keep going as always. One other thing that happened, he's a handsome man. One other thing that happened in the cruise industry is Royal Caribbean extended suspension of selling until May 12th. Now, most of the cruise lines, besides some of the foreign ones, they suspended cruising for 30 days. And it was supposed to last up through April, I think maybe April 17th. Well, Royal Caribbean has extended its global suspension of cruising into May due to the ongoing COVID-19 crisis. The company said in a statement Wednesday that it now expects to return service on May 12th, 2020, with the exception of Alaska, Canada, New England cruises, which will resume July 1st, 2020, due to port closures. So there's a lot of places that are refusing cruise ships into their docks. They don't want um, any exposure. So they're, being very strict about travel. So Alaskan cruise is the cruise that I would probably end up doing if I do a 7 day. They're very popular, and they're not starting back until July. But Royal Caribbean is have already made the decision not to start to extend another 30 days or extend through May 12th. Royal Caribbean first initiated their global suspensions of sailing beginning March 15th. Um, they were the first ones to do it, and they're the first ones to stand out this time. So today, Carnival is supposed to be making their decision on whether they're going to extend out and give the date of, if they are, which they probably are, they're going to give the date of when they going to extend to. I know they probably are because they've taken off all April sellings off their website. So that's probably what's coming. Norwegian Cruise Line, meanwhile, has suspended operation until April 12th, while MSC suspended last through April 30th. And again, these cruise lines may be changing based on what's going on. Ports are closing. You don't have anywhere. I mean, you have cruise ships out in the ocean right now with just the crew on it who can't port because ports are not letting them in. So, of course, they can't sell tickets and get passengers on there if they have nowhere to take them. So, more than likely, they're going to extend out. So, this is the latest information on cruising. Just like with everything in our life that this has affected, it's affected how we grocery shop. It's affected our doctor's appointment. It's affected how we work. So many people are working from home now. This is our new normal. This is becoming our new normal. But with all having said all that, I think that we're going to be okay. No, I don't think that. I know that we're going to be okay, and this too shall pass. One other thing about changes is that I noticed that restaurants now are now allowing you to take out beer and wine. When you go in and you order your meals, or most times they want to bring them out to you. They don't want you to come in the inside, but they will allow you to order as a part of your takeout beer and wine. Interesting, huh? Right. That our world, Rona has come in with her world tour and has changed our world. Okay, with all this uncertainty. Well, again, I think that this thing will pass over. It'll clear up, especially if everybody do their part and stay in. If everybody do their part and stay in, this thing will clear up, and we'll be just fine. Um, and we'll be, I won't say back to normal, because I think what was normal has changed. We'll have a new normal, but we'll be okay. Okay? So all of those of you who wants to cruise, who've never cruised before and is thinking about it, I'm glad. I was listening to A View is a View, and she said she wanted to go on a cruise. And she said August. Her birthday is in August. I knew that. View is a View. So is mine. I knew you were a Leo. I think our birthday are close. But I'm glad to hear that potential first time cruisers are still thinking about cruising, and they still want to cruise. And that's a wonderful thing. We shouldn't allow Rona to come in and stop the things that we want to do, right? So that's a great thing. So if you're a cruiser, or you were a future past cruiser, I hope that you still continue to cruise in the future once all this clears up. One other thing that Mr. Donald said about cruising, he said cruising is not dangerous. Let me see if I can find that article real quick. Um, and I agree with him. Like I said, of all the ships that went out. Um, of all the ships that went out, and there was thousands of ships, both here in the United States and in other countries that were out. Only a few of them were quarantined. I would say, I'm gonna take a guess at 5. I don't know how many it was, but it wasn't very many. And of those ships, only about 3 of them had actual people that tested positive for the coronavirus. And again, this was early on, before it spread it. This was very early on, before they knew anything. So he said Carnival CEO says the coronavirus can be contained on cruises because the ship is so large and amid criticism of companies' slow reaction to the pandemic. So the ships are kept so clean and cold. Not you can warm up in your room. You're not you can go out on deck and sit under the beautiful sun and you warm up. But they keep it an atmosphere of cleanliness on ships because it's so many people on it and it's a ship anyway. So and they clean those ships very well. I mean, for the most part. So let me end this before I go get too long winded. I don't like my uploads to be too long, and I don't like when I start rambling. But just saying all this to convince you that the cruise industry is going to come back uh, as great as ever, and it's going to be safe to cruise as it always has been, as it's going to be safe to fly, as it's going to be safe to stay in hotels, as our world is going to be okay again. Okay? This is Miss Cruiser. Please like, share, and subscribe.